Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Ocean Beach Dawn. It's 8 by 12 inches, and I completed this yesterday, was it, or day before, something like that. Now, I have painted this scene before, and I've painted it the same size, and um, oh, before we get into that though, I am actually working on some hardboard, and I have to say I'm quite preferring the painted over hardboard to just plain hardboard. But we'll talk some more about that hopefully as we move along here. I've got a few other things to touch on here. This is just straight up burn umber, no adulteration. There's a lot of red in that hardboard tone, and well, we may as well talk about it because this is kind of when the hardboard color. I worked on it for a long time, and it works because it's essentially a nice red tone, but it has a lot of like saturation in it, and I'm finding that I don't mind having a red. But if you look at my recent series of videos I've shared on the channel, that red is subdued a little bit more. The overall effect of the hardboard doesn't seem as saturated as once the little bits with the burnt umber on them, the thinned burnt umber, start peeking through. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Um, a little bit of allergies here. Yeah, that bit peeking through, it's just something you have to address, especially if you're coming in thinner. Also, I would say the surface itself of the hardboard gave me a few, like, kind of issues as well. So I'm going for the painted hardboard from here on out. The thing is, like, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. I had originally thought, I've done this as an 8 by 12 before. It doesn't work as a panoramic because of the way this landscape is configured, and there are some real challenges. Now you can see the reference image that I used in the members area. That image, it comes up in the videos itself on my computer screen, but now I've been including an initial image at the fore. And the reason for that is so that you can just see very clearly the things that I kept and the things I changed. And this reference image is really quite attractive, on its own. But a lot of them are just kind of weird sometimes. It doesn't really matter as long as it sparks a good painting. Anyway, I had it in my head because I really like 6 by 8 right now, and those proportions right now they're a bit more squarish than this 8 by 12. 8 by 12 is more rectangular, slightly more panoramic. Anyway, I'd configured it, but it just every time I looked at it when I was going to make a painting and looking for a reference image that I'd worked on, I saw this scene done as a 6 by 8 and I just didn't like the squish. So then I thought, oh, maybe I can make it a panoramic. And then I tried that. I tried a lot of different things. And this gets us to where the real compositional challenges for me in this were. And again, they're quite apparent, I think, when you see the reference image. But the biggest single challenge is in the reference image, this area of sand we have underneath the distant mountain, the mountain there, the middle distant mountain range or heads or whatever you want to call it, peninsula, was really bright and light. So one thing I did there was I minimized that, and I minimized that in my composition to make it just less. And that was really difficult to do with the actual photo in Photoshop. I could only go so far, so I had to really finish a job in the painting. And there's a lot of times that's the case. There's things I know that I'm going to need to change when I start painting, and that's what the underpainting session is there for, to help you sort of plan, get those shapes in places that feel right. And I don't know if anyone's. I know that George Inness had a theory of composition that apparently didn't make much sense to anyone. But for me, it's a feeling thing, and I do have some notes about it in my book, and lots of people been interested in the book. We just shipped out book number 150. Now I have, um, other have sold other copies out of my studio and through here in Fongaray, but that's to the world, and I'm so proud and happy, and I thank you for the support. It's $60 US with international shipping included. And so far, I'm holding the line on that. I have an order in at the printer, but it's been delayed for color fidelity reproduction, so I haven't seen the bill yet. But I may have to sit down and get my calculator out and see where I'm landing exactly. The main expense is that international shipping. It's just astronomical from out here in New Zealand, but what are you going to do? It's the cost of living in a really nice place. Yeah. Okay, so we popped in the sky. I'm real happy with the sky. I went with this. Actually, it used the very similar sky in a painting session very recently that I'm going to be hatching on you coming up. In fact, that was the video I was thinking of doing, but this was at hand. And yeah, I noticed the straight up landscapey, traditionally kind of stuff does better. No doubt that's because a lot of people that subscribed, that was the kind of thing, that I was doing. But yeah, these kinds of scenes sell out here. And, I think I've really embraced the challenges that come with these sorts of scenes. One of the main challenges is there you can see when you have to deal with this horizon line thing. Now, the members areas would be catching this, and maybe you did. Just briefly see how I went over it with a Q-tip or a cotton bud, as they would call it out here in New Zealand. The reason I did that is because you got to finesse that horizon line. You don't want it too hard, too soft, but you definitely don't want a bunch of built-up paint that you have to wrangle with when you start coming in with the water. So 90% of that's just a bit of a wiping off action of the excess paint. Yeah, just a tip. And for a long time, I didn't like painting horizons at all. I felt they were a tyranny, I felt they were inescapable. But I really like them now, and I do a lot of them, and to the point where I could almost interject a lake or something like that in just about every painting. But I'm not doing that though. In fact, I got one coming up for you. Like I said, I know everyone will be into it, and hopefully you're getting into this. And this is the other thing I want to say. It's like whatever you're painting. Yeah, we're getting to like the 8-minute mark here. This 15-minute video. So a lot of people just clicked on it and were bored and have left. So let me talk to you about the channel. And what I'm doing here is essentially sharing what it is I do. Now that's here in the 15-minute area, and it's been like this for 10 years now, or getting close to it. I just like sharing the process. I just love to show how the paintings came together. What I'm really not, though, is your like painting teacher guy. I'm a landscape painter, and I myself never really had a painting teacher per se. I got a few books, and then mostly I learned by making a lot of paintings. And I think if you have a teacher or you don't, either way, if you have a teacher, I would highly recommend that you don't just make a painting over after the teacher's work and then make another painting and another. You're not really going to learn if you do that. And I've had actually students here in Fongaray. There is a lady in this town, and she's a great art teacher, and she satisfies a real need. And this lady showed me on her phone all the different paintings she'd done in that attending that school basically. And wow, they were really awesome. But that's not what I do. That's not what I'm into. I do sometimes like to get the reference image up there on the screen, and even then, though, really what I'm doing is I'm imparting insights. And to me, let's just say you're working hard. Like I said, you do a painting every day or every couple of days. You're not working too big, so you can cover a lot of ground. you're working fairly loose and you're working fairly impressionistic. Even though this is a tonal painting, it's painted in a loose impressionistic way. And thus, this actual painting session is around 3 hours long, a little longer when you include the members area bonus aspects like the color mixing session and the section at the beginning where I just talk about the reference and all the challenges that I see in making the painting. Those are all insights. And I think that's why this channel is really devoted to people that are actively interested in painting sort of already. I'm not your guy for your people starting out. I have some stuff that sort of covers that ground, and maybe I could do better. But for me, it just gets really old really fast because I'm more about going to work every day in my studio, deciding what it is I'm going to paint that day, turning on the camera. If you're in the members area, then you're there with me. You're a fly on the wall. It's just like if you were my student there. But what it isn't is like, okay, I'm going to teach everyone how to paint this today. I'm going to teach everyone how to paint that today. And actually, I was just doing my taxes just to go off. And I could see this was around this time last year, maybe a little not quite there yet, where I tried to roll out these video courses. And who knows, maybe they were overpriced or there just was no demand because it was too similar to kind of things people can get for free, or I don't have a big name, and I don't really mind about any of that. I don't, honestly. But I tried it. I put a lot of effort into it, and it was not something that went anywhere. But it got me thinking, though, that, I'm really still, I absolutely love just sharing my work, what I do, giving you insights on how to make your paintings better. If you like what I do, then watch some of my videos, take a few notes, and then, but really, find yourself some reference that inspires you. In fact, I recommend we all have phones. Go out, take some cool pictures, and if you don't know how to work on a computer, you can mess around with them on some of those phone apps that make things look cool. Even Instagram has filters that make things look interesting. Mess around, get something inspiring, and then get your canvas or your board out and make a quick painting from it. And don't make it a big major issue. Don't make it something do or die. Just express yourself. Okay, this is what we all have to do. I have a sip of tea here. We're almost done. You just want to express yourself, and if you, of course, you want to do it brilliantly, and you want to be well regarded, and you want to be surrounded by beautiful examples of your talent, and that's very natural. But let's face it, all of that is coming from a place of personality. It's coming place from I don't like the ego word too much because it's misused, but it's coming from a place of personal identification, which is fine. But it's also the simplest thing in the world. I mean, everyone's like that. It ideally, you want to zoom out a little bit, and I believe expressing that personal aspect of yourself and sharing that with the world is the most special thing that we can do. So I'm not dissing that. What I'm saying, though, is you don't want to get tight about it. You don't want to get, oh, I need acclaim, and oh, I need all my paintings to look amazing, even though I've done only 5. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it should. Why would your fifth? Maybe you get. Let me tell you honestly, the universe, God, He'll give people their first paintings, the first and second paintings. Sometimes they'll be amazingly great, and I always take that as a sign. That's the universe saying, we want you to do this. Do it, And then you do, and you find out, oh wow, it's a lot harder than I thought. And a lot of people maybe give up at that point, or they do a few more and they give up. Don't be invested in outcomes, okay? Be invested in the process. The process is called expressing yourself. And if you do enough work, you'll start to express yourself in a beautiful and unique way that'll have intrinsic value, whether you're selling your work, whether you're a professional, whatever it is you want to do. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, Burble, and I hope you enjoyed watching me put this painting together, and I really appreciate you coming around. So until I come back with another video for your edification, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family, and please fight the power.